Where even are you? And why haven't you sliced Makara in half yet?
He smells too bad. I don't think I want to risk getting that close to him until he takes a bath. Even then, I'd rather not. As for where I am, I'm not sure you'd believe me if I told you.
I bet I would.
Okay, I'm on a date.
Lol.
Don't lol at me.
I can't help it. It's hilarious. Who are you out on a date with?
Why don't you take a guess?
Okay, it's obviously Roxy.
Oh.
What's wrong now? You asked me to guess, so I guessed.
I'm just wondering if I was really that obvious.
Yeah, John. We are not idiots. We can all do the math on this. It's not like you were going to fuck your human mom or human sister. And you are not a homosexual, which takes Strider Dick out of the equation. And Kanaya's the only girl troll left, and she is lesbian married, one of the two remaining eligible human females. Oh, and Jake is a double threat, a human dad with a human dick. So by process of elimination, of course you were going to fall in love with Roxy.
Wait.
Love? Is that how John feels about Roxy? He glances around at this beautiful restaurant she's taken him to. Marble walls, a domed ceiling, alien plants growing up the scaffolding to the second floor. It's lit by a cobweb of ultra-thin clear wire, strung with lights so that it looks like there are fireflies suspended above in the fake night sky. It's a good place to fall in love, probably. He turns his head to see that Gamzee has stepped outside and now monitors the date with his face pressed against the window. He's smearing his disgusting makeup against the glass without the slightest concern for propriety. John accidentally makes eye contact with him, and Gamzee gives him a thumbs up. A chill runs down John's spine, so he goes back to his conversation with Terezi.
I'm waiting. Still waiting. Egbert, are you there, or can I go now?
Yeah, I just had to think about that for a second. Do you really think I'm in love with her?
How the hell would I know that? I'm not a mind reader.
Oh, aren't you? I thought that's what your mind thingy powers did.
No, I'm just an exceptionally good read of people. Not that I would have to be to tell that you've been flushed for Roxy since you met her.
Yeah, I guess that's true. How do you think she feels about me?
If you're out on a date with her, I don't think that I'm the one you should be asking that question.
I mean, would that be an okay thing to ask her? That kinda seems, I don't know, dopey.
John, I hate to tell you this, but there's not much you could do at this point to increase your dopiness attribute. You've already pretty much maxed out the dork stat, and I can only imagine that the positive correlation between your continued existence and the amount of sheer dweebiness you emit has retained expected equilibrium in the time that I've been gone.
Jeez, you always know what to say to people in their hour of need, Terezi. I'm so glad I decided to talk to you.
You should be glad. I'm doing you a big favor, as usual. The seer magnanimously descending from her mountain and deigning to give the hapless human peerless advice.
Imagine me rolling my eyes super hard right now, because that's what I'm doing.
Noted. But trust me, the worst thing you can do when attempting to initiate a flushed relationship is to be evasive. Roxy is actually incredibly difficult to read, but I think she's the last person who would ever try to jerk you around. She'll appreciate you being upfront. The only thing I wonder is what happened with Calliope. They seem so happy.
Yeah, that's been bothering me too. Callie was actually the one who convinced me to stay. Roxy was all over me the moment I said I wasn't going.
Going where?
Oh, to fight Lord English.
You were supposed to fight Lord English?
Yeah, I guess.
But you just decided not to?
Look, it's a long story. Actually, it's not, but that's not why I texted you. I'll tell you some other time. Right now, what I think I need to figure out is how I feel about the whole Calliope thing. I'm not afraid to ask Roxy how she feels about me, I guess. But I think that I am afraid to ask about...
Roxy finally comes back from the restroom. He hears her heels click-clacking on the floor and shoves his phone into his pocket in a panic before he can follow up on the last line of his message. He doesn't know why he does it in a panic. It's not like he's doing anything wrong. In fact, tapping away on the phone when someone leaves you alone at the table is completely and totally normal. Maybe it's just that it's kind of weird to be talking to a girl under the table while on a date with a completely different girl, no matter what his respective relationships with those two girls might be. His internal Rose voice tisks at him for having such a gender essentialist thought. He wonders if he'd feel as guilty if he were talking to Rose under the table instead of Terezi. Probably not, which is a whole tangle of stuff he doesn't want to think about. He shoots Roxy a big, bright grin when she slips into her seat. She grins back. He is genuinely glad to be here. Roxy is beautiful. The restaurant is beautiful. He feels like he's fumbling at something existentially beautiful here. There's something about the way she's looking at him that makes him glad he got out of bed today. It makes him, for the first time in years, excited about the idea that the future is a thing that exists.
Sorry for taking so long. Had to reapply the face, you know how it is. Actually, you probably don't, but let me tell you, makeup's a bitch.
Roxy, you don't have to do all that for me. I'm basically a schlub these days. I don't care if you wear makeup or not. You're pretty either way. You know that, right?
Oh, don't worry, it's not for you. But that's sweet as hell. I appreciate the sentiment.
Oh, that's cool. Why do you need it then?
John, do you ever think about, like, gender?
Huh? Not really, I guess. But I don't think girls should feel like they have to wear makeup just because they're girls.
Lol. That's not what I'm getting at.
What do you mean, then? Are you, like...
Like what?
I don't know. I don't really know what we're talking about.
Lol, I don't really know either, I guess. Anyway, we don't gotta get super into it now. This isn't really the setting. I don't know if you noticed, but this place is way too fancy for me, LMFAO. I was all trying to impress you with how I'm classy as fuck, but now I feel like we're gonna have to skip out on the check.
Even though we've got infinite money?
Yeah. Just a feeling I get. Like this fancy dress is a costume. Like I'm just play acting at being a grown-up woman.
Yeah, I know that feeling. What even are adults?
Good question.
When I was a kid, I just thought adulthood was something that happened to you automatically, I think. Like, the moment I turned 18, a briefcase would appear in my hand and I'd just have it all figured out, just like my dad seemed to. Can't believe I'm 23 and still a huge loser. I wonder if my dad ever thought that way about himself. Like, he was just some big dumb kid totally messing everything up, but trying to keep up appearances anyway.
Don't say that about yourself, dummy.
So, I'm a dummy, but I shouldn't call myself dumb?
OMG, you know what I meant.
Roxy runs one of her thin fingers around the inside rim of her water glass. It makes a very quiet squeaking noise that he can hear over the mumbled conversation around him because they're sitting so very close. Her lashes look about twice as long in the low, pale light. They shadow her eyes so that he can't read her expression.
You know, I didn't even know any adults when I was a kid. So I got nothing except the legends of how my universe's Rose and Dave died, I guess. But that's not exactly a useful example in this situation.
I don't know. I think sacrificing yourself to take down a brutal clown dictatorship is a pretty good life lesson to internalize in any situation.
Oh, yeah, God forbid. But, I mean, my idea of a date for the longest time was drinking a whole bottle of wine alone while crying in front of my laptop screen.
Oh, same, actually. Minus the wine and the computer screen.
Just you and your brain, contemplating the infinite loneliness of singular consciousness in a vast cold universe.
Something like that. So, I guess neither of us are very good at this, huh?
That's cool with me. 0 expectations means we got nowhere to go but up.
I'll toast to that.
John lifts his glass as a cute and cliché thing to do, expecting no reciprocation. But she laughs and actually humors him. The glasses clink together clumsily and water gets all over the complimentary breadsticks. She starts laughing harder.
John, why didn't we do this sooner? I love spending time with you. You know, it's weird to say, but no one else has ever made me feel like this.
For some reason, those words make the pit in his stomach grow. He lets out a nervous giggle. His arm starts to shake, so violently that he gets more water on the free breadsticks. Oh boy. He's sweating under the collar. It's a panic, like what he felt when Roxy almost caught him texting Terezi under the table, except in reverse. What about Calliope, he thinks. John can't tell what Roxy is thinking. She's so warm and open and inviting, but when John looks into her eyes, it's almost like staring into a void.
Oh, what the fuck? Look behind you.
He whips his head around to see Dave? He's running down the street, looking back and forth like a hunted man. He spots John and freezes for a moment, obviously trying to compose himself. No one goes still quite like a Strider. He brushes past Gamzee, who is still glued to the window to spy on the date, and swaggers into the restaurant. The look on his face seems to suggest he's about to throw up, but he keeps it together. His entrance is so smooth that all the dining care patrons in the vicinity immediately stop talking and stare at him as he glides to the table. Dave sets his hand just in front of the free breadsticks and angles a look at John through the panels of his shades. It looks like he hasn't slept, but it's hard to tell with Dave. He's out of breath.
Hey, dude. And Roxy. Hey, dudes. Sorry to imply that dude wasn't a gender-neutral term, because it totally is. Anyone can be a dude if they really want. That's part of the beauty of living in this brand new world with none of the baggage of our old world, like the gender and sexuality and relationships only involving a very specific number of people.
Dave, you okay?
Yeah, totally. When am I not okay?
Pee often, actually.
Nah, I'm fine. There's absolutely nothing strange or awkward going on in my life at all. Unrelated to anything I just said, John, I gotta talk to you for a sec.
Okay, go ahead.
No, I mean like outside, in private, with no one else around.
You sure you're okay?
Yeah, Mom, I'm fine. Sorry that was me being sarcastic about how you're all worried over me when I'm just ice fucking cold levels of cool at the moment. Not referencing that you're my literal mom, which I know is all kinds of awkward every single time I do it, which is a lot, I guess.
Well, now, I don't think it's awkward at all.
Oh, cool. Me neither, Mom.
Roxy's right. You seem kind of off right now.
No, I just had a sudden need for a bro down. Just an unquenchable thirst to be showered in a flash storm of righteous bro juice.
Yikes.
Gotta guzzle that shit out like it's the Gatorade after a sports match. Help me out here, my bro electrolytes are low. John, just come on, it's important.
Yeah, sure. Roxy, are you fine waiting here by yourself for a while?
Yeah, I'll just be here, eating breadsticks, since we didn't actually order dinner.
Cool. I'll be right back.
Dave shoves his hand in his pockets and leads John out into the cool evening air. Gamzee offers a double thumbs up as they walk past him, which John fiercely ignores. John does, however, check his phone. Subtly, but a little desperately. He left Terezi hanging in the middle of a sentence, and he's got to admit, as much fun as he's been having with Roxy, there's an annoying little voice screaming at him underneath everything else he's done and said tonight that desperately needs to know what else Terezi had to say. Behind Dave's back as he leads the way, John swipes the screen to catch up with her answers, smiling conspiratorially.